Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Michelle and Rebecca, if you think of a topic, if you could just type it quickly in that chat box, we'll use that as an example. But what I'm going to start with is I had a student come in from your class today who had the same project, and she didn't know what to do her paper on. So it turns out she's a new parent, and I said, well, what if we look at parenting? So I'm going to go through the process that I went through with her to develop her topic and show you what I did, and I think she was very happy with it. So meanwhile, type into the chat box if you have a question. But this is where we started. We started on databases. And the first thing you're going to need to do is kind of to define your topic, correct? So what we did is we went to Credo reference and we typed in parenting. And we got quite a few entries over here. I'm going to move our chat box a little. And we looked at a couple of these, and then I actually emailed them to her. But one of the ones, let's look at this, developmental psychology parenting. And there's parenting in women's health. So we came down here. There is a parenting. Oh, good. Oh, great. So we went in and looked at parenting, and this gives her a lot of background information on parenting, what the situation is. I showed her it had APA, and then we actually emailed this article to her. So she had this to get her definition and her background information. And your topic is vague right now. You're looking at romantic relationships and how people choose partners. Okay, we'll do that. I'm going to first show you what we did with parenting, and then we're going to look at romantic relationships and check that out.
Start the same thing, yeah. And don't worry about being vague at first, because what's going to happen for you, Rebecca, and Michelle, and anybody else who is doing research, a lot of times you have this kind of vague idea of where you want to go, and what you're going to find is that as you start to do research, you're going to find articles that kind of help you narrow down what you're doing.
Mute her?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay. So what we did from there, so we got a little background information on parenting, and then we started, now we're looking at our article databases where we can get our peer-reviewed articles. We started with ProQuest, and this is what we did our search on. We started with parenting. And then what she's looking at is an infant. She had a very young child, so we said and infant. And then we said and communication. And we said communication had to be a subject term so that it definitely had to do about communication. Down here we clicked peer-reviewed and scholarly, and then we searched. And when we look through here, I have to see which one we want. We found one that we really liked about crying. So we thought about crying as a means of a communication. So what we did is we went back one screen and we added a row and we put in crying. So here's crying as a form of parent-infant communication. Infant vocalization, contrast between crying and laughter. So by a simple search of putting in parenting and communication and then narrated by infant, we found an article on crying and thought, great way to narrow it. So then we went into these articles and we actually emailed them to her. So there she is. She's got her 2 peer-reviewed sources right up front. And we narrowed it pretty significantly.
Yeah, and that's a really fascinating topic.
Yeah, I think that'll be really interesting for her. So, no thanks to that. So let's go back and start a new search and try romantic relationships. I do always like to do an advanced search so that I have my Boolean operators, if you remember us mentioning Boolean operators and, or not. So in this case, let's put in romantic relationships. Do Do we want to say and communication maybe?
Mm-hmm.
And let's make that a subject term again, okay? That just helps us narrow it. We already have peer review and scholarly. Let's see what we can find. Encrine. That's funny. Sorry about that.
I forgot to take that one out.
Encrine. All right. Heterosexual romantic relationship research within the communication disciplinary journals. That sounds good, doesn't it?
That sounds like it's what's called a literature review. So what they've done is they've gone through a lot of communication journals and looked at all sorts of other articles that have been published on that. So this might not be a bad place to get started, just to give you some ideas about who was looking at what and what were some of the essentially what was the context, what were they looking at in terms of romantic relationship.
I also think it's an interesting point to see that they use the term heterosexual. So if you're trying to narrow to that, maybe you need to include that term so you don't start getting into the gay relationships, which is fine if you want to look at that. But if you don't, what you might want to do, and this is where it really helps you to kind of search through an article and see what words are going to help you. So right, they're analyzing all these different studies. 26 relational roles. Interesting. I wonder if they actually mention the 26, because if you need to narrow it, there you go. Here's a footnote, references, and look how many references there are here. Meaningful relationships. Well, maybe that's another interesting term. Maybe not just romantic, but meaningful relationships.
And just looking at this right now, I'm recognizing a lot of these names here. Bryant, Duck, Floyd, these are all people who are very well known. Glaser and Strauss, Discovery of Grounded Theory, I used that on my dissertation. That's here. So a lot of these people here are writing pretty consistently about interpersonal topics. And there's a lot of information, there's a lot of scholarly literature about relationships. So I'm wondering if you were looking at choosing a partner, maybe we could narrow it down to maybe look at choice. Maybe what we could also look at is relationship longevity.
Interesting.
So because we're trying to see if we can't maybe narrow a little bit more and get you more kind of where you were thinking of.
Longevity.
EVITY. Yep.
Okay, let's add.
Yeah, we'll just see what that does.
Whoa, did not like that.
Okay.
And notice in this database, they give you other suggestions. Personal relationships and behavior, personal relationships and love, personal relationship and teenagers.
Maybe instead of using longevity, maybe we could use a term like commitment. Because a few studies have shown, there's one professor who teaches at the University of Denver, one professor shows that people who have a commitment the people who have long-term relationships tend to have strong commitments. But that's not working either. And welcome, Jessica. And Jessica, if you've got a topic for us, please go ahead and type it in the chat box. We're working on Rebecca's topic right now.
Up here, they look at not just romantic relationships, but even just personal relationships and communication. So we can try various things. We can try personal relationships. Communication, and even love. Didn't they put that in one of those as the subject term? Let's see what they're. Socialist China, interesting. And love styles. That might be interesting. So this is talking about romantic love. So again, in your abstract, you might get some good ideas of words to use. So that might be a good one.
That might be a good one. The other thing is I'm trying to think of, first of all, Rebecca, does this look like something that might interest you? Because if it does, we can email it to you. Another option that we've got is maybe to start using a few different terms to kind of get you going the direction that we want. Maybe choosing romantic partners, maybe longevity. We already did longevity, maybe long-term relationship. I don't know.
Well, let's try long-term relationship. It doesn't take much time just to put in some different terms. Bringing the hospital home. We kind of got romance out of that one, didn't we? Because long-term relationships, we're not getting in the partner kind of. And then we're getting down in here into same-sex relationships. So you want to distinguish the kind of relationship that you're wanting to.
There's that same journal we had seen earlier.
Yeah, back to our love styles. I think that might have been helpful.
Oh, love languages.
Love languages.
Interesting.
Whoa. Well, let's just try a new one. Let's just start over there. Peer reviewed. And you can hover over this preview and then get an idea of the abstract.
Oh, we may need to do love language in quotes.
Or we're getting
to keep it together.
Yeah. So let's do that. Again, we put the quotes around phrases to keep the phrase together so it doesn't look for love and in the next paragraph language. College long distance relationship. That's interesting too. That might be another way to take your relationship as a long distance or a college long distance relationship.
Yeah.
Bonded by language.
No idea.
I'm almost thinking that that might be a review, but let's see. Yeah, it's talking about her writing.
Oh yeah,
Controversial novel. And I'm going to keep this up, but I'm also going to go to another database just to show you how it's laid out differently. And one thing I like in this database, though I think in ProQuest you might have better luck with interpersonal communication, mainly because it's also searching a psychology database. But in this one, let's put in romantic relationship again. And different databases will use different keywords. So we're going to say communication. We're going to start off relatively simple, but I am going to say again that has to be a subject term, and we're going to narrow it to scholarly. Predictors of friend approval for romantic relationships. Again, you can hover over this to see the abstract. But what I want to show you in this database is the way they put these subject terms up at the top. Communication styles, interpersonal communication, social networks, because this is an interesting, and it might be an interesting way to take your topic is romantic relationships and how others see it or getting approval from your friends for your relationship. Interesting thought. In this database, the full text would be over here, so you would just open the PDF. So predictors of friend approval for romantic relationships. Here's the full article. And again, quite a few references. And another thing to think about is looking at the conclusion when there is one, rather than reading the whole article. Look at the abstract, look at the conclusion, see if this is what you're really aiming for. Does any of this look like it might be helpful for you, Michelle?
Oh, it's Rebecca.
Or it's Rebecca?
Or is there something, if you thought of something that maybe we can narrow it down? How about if we see if we can put in love language?
In this database
Yeah,
and
let's
compare
just
it.
see if we can.
Women's love and love language. And this is supposed to be scholarly. That's interesting. Again, we can hover over here, see what the abstract says. It's about a poem, really.
Oh, okay.
Let's see what beyond love language is. So it's looking at it from a literary and biblical standpoint. Again, looking at specific literature. Unfortunately, when we put in the term language, it seems to want to take you to some sort of a literature application.
All right. So maybe come back to, what do you think? I think we need to stick with romantic relationships. We already tried long term, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Do we try?
You know what? Let's just do this. Let's just put in Oh, I should have put it in quotes though. Let's just talk about romantic relationships and see if it is a subject term. It's not a subject term. Sometimes by being general, just looking at romantic relationships, maybe we'll see some titles that spark something. The emotional intelligence, satisfaction, that's interesting. Social anxiety, that might be an interesting way to go. So what happens, so then if you click on this just to see, you can see some other subject terms. Romantic love, isn't that interesting? That's a subject term they have used. So maybe that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
So this is what we can do. We can just click on romantic love, and now we're in that subject heading. Another thing, I notice we're getting something about Turkish love. We can come over here on the left-hand side and we could actually limit this to the United States. Granted, now we've limited substantially, but this might help you. Attitudes towards romantic love, that might be of interest. It might still be worth looking at. But I think you're going to have to think about, if you're looking at romance or romantic love, how you want to narrow it. So maybe it's finding one really good article and then saying, yes, that's it.
And that's oftentimes the hard part is how do you find that one really
That
good
one
article?
really good article.
Because it can really take a lot of time. But since we don't really have any other topics that we need to focus on, why don't we just kind of keep working with this and see where we can go with it? Love language. So what do you mean by love language? Can you maybe give me a little definition of that or an explanation? Maybe we can help narrow it down a little bit more. Romantic love. I'm almost thinking romantic love and communication styles.
Love talk.
Love talk.
Now notice I have lost because we've been going back
Right. So
for
many
some
times.
of our peer review.
Love talk.
Searching for love impossible. We can look at our abstract again.
The 5 love languages. Okay, how people express their love.
So what about love and expression then?
Let's try that. Yeah, let's try love and expression. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Love withdrawal. Yeah. Emotional faces, that's getting into your body language. Ooh, perceptions of responses to love. That's interesting. I like that one. Different responses to I love you. How women and men use these responses. Does that look like that might be interesting? The responses to I love you, emotions, self-expression.
Oh, so self-expression. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. So Rebecca, if you want to send us your email, then Anne can go ahead and at least email you this article and kind of give you maybe a way to get started.
Oh, it's gonna come up here to the little email. Okay. Does that look all right?
Yeah.
And we want to be sure to pick APA, so you have your citation information.
Oh, at gmail.com.
Oops, no
Right.
at.
Thank you.
Where's my at? There it is. Okay, that's been sent to you. I like that, the responses to I love you. How we respond differently to such a term.
Yeah, and I'm kind of glad that we went through this, and this has been kind of a difficult topic, and because it seems like a topic that ought to be not so difficult to find things about. But what this is showing you is, first of all, just the process of doing scholarly research, and second of all, that maybe what you're expecting to find isn't always there. But the third thing that I want you to understand is just because you come in with a particular topic, that it doesn't mean that the article that you find has to specifically deal with that topic. That you may find little nuggets of information in this particular source that are going to support what you're writing about. So essentially, this essay paper that you're writing it's your paper. You've got a perspective, you've got a point of view about a particular topic, and it's your observations that you are writing about, and it's going to be supported in some small ways by some of the outside sources or the peer reviewed. So again, just to let you know, everything that you find in one article doesn't have to be specifically tied in to your topic. When you do find an article like that, and they're very few and far between, we call that the rock star article. And we don't get
We
them
all
very,
want one.
we all want one. And we don't get them very often, which is unfortunate.
Okay, does anybody else have something really general they're interested in, like maybe workplace communication or sibling communication or parenting? Body language across
Ooh,
cultures. Oh, that's interesting.
yes. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to go back to that first database. Maybe mainly because it has the communication or the psychology aspect. And let's try
Yeah.
advanced search again.
What we may try instead of body language, that a lot of times that, as you know from our textbook, that body language is a part of nonverbal communication. So maybe we start with nonverbal communication and then maybe narrow it and look at body language from there. That's just a way to start. It may not work, but we can.
And culture. So we're going to try this. So we're going to be general to begin with, then we can narrow it. Culture and mental health, nonverbal communication.
Oh, cool.
In young children with autism.
Well, number 3 looks fascinating.
Again, we can look at the preview here. I'm not seeing that it's really hitting the different cultures.
Well, they're probably looking at it as there's probably situating what is aphasia? I used to know what that meant.
Oh, I can't tell you.
I know, I've seen it.
Terrible to do this, but
Yeah, see, we do it too. We do it all the time.
what is aphasia? Disturbance of the comprehension and expression of language caused by dysfunction in the brain.
Make it hard for you to read, write, and say what you mean. All right. Okay, so maybe that's what they're looking at, is that people with aphasia is a different culture. Just as you
Ooh,
may
that's
look at
interesting.
someone who is not able to see or not able to hear as a different culture. So maybe what we need to, do you want to focus more on like international cultures? Is that kind of what you're thinking about? Because here, yeah, okay, let's try that. Now, I don't know, but if we look at number 2, not necessarily for the article, but the fact that there's a Journal of Nonverbal Communication. So maybe here we can search the journal itself and find if there's something there. Contemporary politics, consumer culture theory.
So let's try that. Nonverbal communication and contemporary politics. Is that the name of the? Is that the name of the journal?
No, the journal
Nonverbal.
is the Journal of Nonverbal Behavior.
Okay, this is good because I'm going to show you how to do this. So this is a good project. So again, we're going to go into the database. We're going to look at publications. And it was the Journal of Nonverbal. I'm just going to put in nonverbal. Is nonverbal usually one word?
It depends. Sometimes it is. There
Journal
it is.
of Nonverbal Behavior. So right from there, we can click on this, and then we can search just within here for, let's try international culture. And there we go.
International patterns of interpersonal tactile communication.
Wow.
Ooh. All right. Cross-cultural judgments of spontaneity. Here we go.
That was a good way to get into this.
Yeah.
Going backwards and finding a journal.
This is awesome. Yeah. This is one of what I love about doing research. I know it sounds so boring to most people, but to me, it's like this little treasure hunt.
So this could tell you about the different cultures and their reaction, such essentially to facial expressions and emotions.
Yeah. I think what we
Interesting.
need to do is let's at least send you one of these, Jessica, and then what you can do is you can research that journal yourself a little bit more. But now you know where to go.
Do you remember how we did that? We went into the main page of this database. We went to publications, we put in nonverbal and came up with this and just
Yes.
clicked on the title of the journal and then searched the journal.
Yes.
Okay.
And make sure that when you do these journal searches, do it through the library databases. You can certainly plug this into Google, but what it's going to do, it's going to take you to the journal. But then if you click on it and you have a particular topic that you're looking for, you're going to run into that paywall. They're going to say, want this article, pay us $35 or whatever it is. And the library has already paid for that, or ACC has already paid for that. So go to the library for this. But is this an article? Maybe let's go back and look at the results and then just tell us, Jessica, or any of these look like ones that you would like us to email?
And here's one on eye contact. Might be good too.
They all look good. Okay, the crosscut. Okay, yeah, let's go ahead. We'll pull that one up. That was number 2.
Okay, we're here to email.
Yeah.
If you just tell me, and again, we're going to do the APA. We're going to give me your email address and I'll send it to you.
It's KATJB @gmail.com.
Okay, now is there an L in between that?
Is that
it
correct?
JLB?
Is it JLB?
I think it's a JLB. Am I wrong?
Yes, there's a JLB. Okay, JLB.
Okay, voila.
How cool.
2 down.
Yeah, yeah.
But you can see the process. It's not always straightforward. But, you know, we came in the back door. We ended up going into a specific journal.
Yeah, and a lot of this is what you end up doing. To me, one of the fascinating aspects of doing research is that there's a journal for everything. I don't care what it is you're looking at. There's a journal out there for it. Just these there's a journal of men's studies, journal of, I'm trying to think of some of the really offbeat names. They're so specific as far as what they look at. But it's also one of the reasons that we use these journals, because these have been peer reviewed, they're written by experts, they're reviewed by other experts before they're allowed to be published. And that once it gets published, essentially what it's saying is that whatever that academic discipline is, it's saying that we think there's a lot of value here. We have been able to prove that this research is correct, that it was done correctly. It doesn't mean that research can't change over the years, but when it was done, that it really had some value. And in communication, a lot of these journals and these sources and studies continue to be representative of some of the behaviors that we see and that we observe in communication studies. So I'm getting excited. I love talking about
it's exciting. It's exciting.
It is kind of exciting. A weird life, but yeah. But it's one of the reasons that for many people who go into academia, this is one of the things that really drives them. They have found something that really fascinates them about their life, about other people's lives, and they get to research and study this and share that information and actually share that knowledge with everyone, because as Albert Einstein said, information is not knowledge. So just because you can pull stuff up doesn't mean that it's really going to give you something you can use.
True.
And apply. All right, so
I was thinking we should look at Google Scholar.
Let's do that.
Okay, some of the interesting things, I like Google Scholar more than I used to, and let me show you a couple reasons why. But what should we do? Let's try nonverbal communication again. And in Google, you automatically Boolean search. It's automatically going to and if we do culture and international, it's going to be doing and. And if you don't want something, then all you have to do in Google is put a minus.
Minus sign, yeah.
So you could say not Japan for whatever reason, okay? Then you get all these articles. So what you really want to pay attention to, maybe the title of the article, but over on the right-hand side, if you see something like a PDF, that's going to take you right into that article. If there was not anything over there, like these, that means you're probably going to have to pay for it or it's going to be abstract only. But another nice thing is it will now show you how to cite. So here's your APA citation. But what I'm looking for, I'm going to go to another page. There we go. EBSCO. When you search Google Scholar, you can set, if you do it on campus, it's going to search our databases. But you can also set that up from home. So in this case, this is an EBSCO results. You would click on this, and from home you would just put in your S number and the article would open up for you. So you can set this up yourself to search our databases by going back here, going to settings from home, and then go over here to where it says library links, type in Arapahoe Community College, and it will show you all the databases that are available. Click and then do save. And if you do this on your home computer, every time you go back into Google Scholar, it will search our databases for you. So if there's one of our articles there, there you go. I think that's a nice thing to be able to do now.
How about if we look up interspecies communication?
Ooh.
Which is my area of interest.
Really?
Yeah.
What a great way to put it. And look, EBSCO host, most of these are full text. Interesting.
And we're also
National
getting a lot
Institute
of
Health.
bacteria stuff. So we want to figure out, we probably want to narrow it down so that we're not looking at bacteria.
Okay, but don't forget, we could do minus bacteria.
Perfect. Okay.
So when you start
Our
getting
products.
results, then you at least get rid of it. Or if that's still not what you want, maybe we need to put interspecies communication in
Yeah,
quotes.
here's a good one. So looking at dogs.
Yeah, but this one isn't full text.
Dogs or canines, yeah. It's not full text.
But let's put interspecies communication in quotes and not bacteria. So these are full text. This one's full text. This one's going to be full text. But again, you might see, and here's one from EBSCO, you might see one that's from a journal that sounds really interesting and then go check out that journal.
Go check
That was
out
a
the journal.
good thing to do. So look at Google Scholar and just pay attention to that right-hand side. You can, of course, limit this then just to the most recent if you only want 2014. You can give it a custom range. This is sorting by relevance. If you want to sort by date, you can, so you can get the most recent first. So this is just 2 months old. So if currency is important to you, that might be a good way to sort it.
These are some fascinating. I like this first one, Dances on Hooves, Embodiment and Interspecies Communication Through Dressage to Music. For those of you who don't know, dressage is a form of, it's using horses, and they have to move in very specific ways, and it takes years and years and years and years for them to get trained appropriately, and a quality dressage horse will cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. But it also looks like the rider's just sitting there and they're not doing anything. but it was originally designed as for war maneuvers when people used to use horses for war. That was what the size came from.
I didn't know that's where it came from.
Yeah, that's where it all came from.
Interesting. So in this case, you can see it's not the full text, but it might have some interesting information for you. And again, the other thing that just searching in Google sometimes at the beginning can do is it can help you come up with the best terms to use. Because I can't stress enough how important it is to find the right terms. And sometimes just a quick Google search will get you in the field of the best terms.
So any other ideas about topics? Otherwise, we're just going to keep kind of going off on our own here until 1 o'clock, because we'd like to give you all an opportunity to hopefully, give us an opportunity to help you find something. Even if you're just kind of generally thinking about a topic, help us, give us, let us know what it is, because we still got 21 minutes here. 19 minutes here. Okay. 19 minutes here, and would certainly like to help you out if we could.
It's interesting, it was searching abstracts. I don't remember that before. I wonder if our other ones did that. No, it was just because we were where we were. So when you do sort by date, then it gives you the ability to search by abstracts or everything.
Interesting.
I've never noticed that. Yeah. Never seen that before.
Look at this one. Adopting a Mustang. Missed that. Through an anthropological lens, exploring cultural concepts across species. Interesting. Fascinating. I know a lot of people have done a lot of research about. There was one person who studied why people take their dogs into the dog shelter, what's the word that they use now? Why they surrender their dogs to the dog shelter. So essentially, why do you give up your dog? Why do you get rid of your dog? And the reasons that people use, talking about, so he was just getting these ideas, why are you taking your dog into the shelter? Or why do you adopt a dog from a shelter? Or, all sorts of stuff.
Well, let's see if there's anything else we're missing from our. Let's go to our homepage again. Remember, you can get anywhere from any arapahoe.edu website. You'll get the library tab. And books, online books. Remember, looking for online books. Databases is kind of the heart of getting your information. Don't forget, if you have a question, a lot of students from your classes have already set up one-on-ones with us. And also don't forget, you can do Ask Academic, which is where you can just call in or not call in, but just email, or you can actually text in and get some help online.
Yeah, because now that you've kind of got a general idea of maybe where you're going, especially Jessica, you kind of look like you're kind of going in a particular direction, then you may have more questions, and here's that opportunity. Please take advantage of these librarians. They're so incredibly helpful. It's probably going to be one of the most important resources that you have to make sure that you're getting the most out of your education, is use the librarians as much as possible. Because it's just amazing. I learn something every time I sit in on a library session like this.
Oh, we all do.
Yeah, whether it's face-to-face or online, I always learn something. And I probably sat through 50 or 60 library sessions now during my academic career.
Well, here's something we can do.
Okay.
We've added a quiz here.
Perfect.
So I'm going to ask the three of you to just click on that button that says quiz, and then put in your student name, whatever you would like to call yourself. Put in raise, REYES, and then it's a COM. I can't believe we don't have COM on here. We were supposed to add that.
I guess we're other.
Oh, call it other. Put in
Other.
COM, and then maybe 125.
Right.
And then my name's Ann Priestman.
Yeah. So you'll have to open up a new window. Obviously, you can't
And then-
go in based upon the window that you're seeing from Ann's computer.
And this is online. Oh, there was an error on your page. Oh, where's the error?
Oh,
I didn't put in my name.
student name.
Okay, so essentially do that, and we'll just walk through the quiz. So which Boolean operator will broaden search results?
So which one? Would you just type that into the chat box?
Okay, we're going to jump in and go, or
Okay.
your professor gives you an assignment to find an electronic journal article about business ethics. What's the quickest way to get started? Browse the journals? No. Search the library catalog? No. How about search an article from one of our electronic databases? That's going to make the most
Yes.
sense. Okay, here's one. This is going to be the citation for this publication, and it's asking you if it's a book. No, it's not a book, is it? Is it a journal article? Well, bioethics. That's probably a journal. It's not a newspaper, and it's not a music recording, so it's going to be a journal article. Okay, all of the following are ways to avoid plagiarism, except put in the author's ID in your own words. That's okay if you use your own words, right? Document the sources you use in a list of references. That's good to do. Reorder the sentences. We don't like that, do we? Use quotation marks around the exact quotations.
Perfect. Yeah.
And finally, which of the following is not important to consider when evaluating websites?
Yeah. And remember the crap test that we went through the other day, or do you
Mhm.
remember that?
Currency, reliability, accuracy, authority, and purpose. So currency of the information, that's important. The accuracy of the information. Somebody's point of view, nah, it's not so important. Well, maybe it is.
Yeah.
How about number of graphics on a page?
Yeah.
Okay, so then we submit.
You passed
Yay,
the
we
quiz.
passed.
All right. Well, I don't really want to log off early in case somebody else is going to log in, but I think we've kind of exhausted what we're going to do today, unless, again, one of you has thought of an idea for a topic, because we still have time. We can take these last few minutes, and if not, we may just log off a little early.
Mhm.
So let us know. If anybody's got a topic, even just a general vague idea, type it in. Otherwise, let us know that you're ready to wrap up the session. And we will call it a day for the Ann and Chris show.
Say farewell. Okay, I'm thinking we should sign off. But we're definitely going to stop the recording.